G'day and welcome to this Let's Play of Subnautica, which is a new title. It's earliest access, which is even earlier than early access. And the idea behind Subnautica is that you land on an alien world and you have to try and survive underwater and craft items, and the game is very much in early development in that the gameplay itself isn't even finalised yet as to what's going to be included. So let's have a look at what's available so far. There's only one type of game available at the moment, and it is only single player. The developers have heard the community that there is a demand for multiplayer, but at the moment they're wanting to craft down to really quality single player beginning, and then maybe in the future look at what can be done in multiplayer.
Habitation vessels are appointed terraforming missions. The Aurora was one such vessel. During its descent, the Aurora was struck by a mysterious energy pulse, resulting in catastrophic hull failure. A single life pod jettisoned prior to impact. You were in that life pod.
So the game starts with us here in our life pod, which obviously is not in the greatest shape. Now there's no save function in the game at this point, so every time you play you do have to start from scratch. So there's two exits. We can either go through the floor or up the ladder, and if we go up the ladder here it pops us up, and there's our ship, which obviously we're not going to get anywhere quick on that. So let's jump straight in, and you can see straight away that there's some really cool alien creatures. So that one's a bladderfish. Now there's bits of wreckage and stuff, so there's some scrap metal that we can pick up. There's also all sorts of cool environmental things like purple mushrooms and such, and bits of coral we can pick up. And there's also hidden within limestone bits, there's minerals that we'll need.
Oxygen, 50%.
And you see our air gauge on the left hand side there's getting a bit low, so we just come up to the surface and just replenish that. Grab some sand. Now what we can do, I need one more piece of metal for what I want to do. When we grab some supplies we can go back into the escape pod here and use this fabricator on the wall, pushing E. And you can see we can craft some silicon here using the 3 sand that we picked up. And then we got 2 metal, so we can make our tank. And that's now in our inventory, so that'll give us a longer air supply. So there's a few things we can craft: a tank, some flippers that make us swim faster, a flashlight for exploring really dark caves, a knife for defending ourselves and also cutting organic materials, a sea glide, which is a little water scooter, a beacon, so a little homing beacon if you want to drop it somewhere and get back to that point, a DNA transfuser, which isn't in the game yet, but eventually the plan is that you'll be able to extract DNA from certain species and inject yourself to give yourself different DNA properties, a welder for fixing things, which isn't implemented yet, and a constructor, which you use for building things like mini submarines and larger submarines. So let's grab some more resources and we'll make some more fins. Now it says to open the PDA with tab, but at the moment that's broken. It's actually E when you're not pointing on something opens up your inventory. And you can see like a lot of MMOs, it's based on sort of like a space with different things taking up different amounts of space. So bigger items are going to take more space. These hoop fish are quite interesting. Now that we've got an air tank, we've got a much longer air supply, so we'll be able to stay underwater a lot longer and explore some more interesting places. Now the levels are set maps. They originally tried using procedurally generated maps, but found that it actually just made the environments look quite generic with the same tile sets being repeated over and over again, and they actually found that by custom designing the map they got a much richer environment, which does mean that when you replay through the game again there are areas like this where you know you'll be able to find things because you'll remember where everything is. But when you get into a new area, it'll hopefully be much more immersive. So make ourselves some flippers there. Speed us up a bit. And we want to make a battery, so we'll need some carbon, so we'll need some more purple mushrooms. There we go. Okay, so we can make our battery now. And we can make ourselves... we need some glass and some metal. One of the cool things about Subnautica is as you come down you'll see different sort of biomes and areas that are inhabited by different species, not all of which are friendly. While the developers have said that they don't really want to make a combat game as such, there obviously will be dangerous elements. A bit of a bug here, as I mentioned, it is in very early alpha, so some of the things aren't quite right. There's a rabbit ray. So here you can see there's a bit of a drop off here, and it's a completely different biome. You can see there's a what they call a stalker. It's a very large green, sleek, aggressive fish swimming down there. We don't really want to tangle with him, so we'll head back up. And we can see where our rescue pod is because of that little blinky light that comes up. I do want to make myself as a knife. Okay, make the constructor. And have we got enough to make a... yeah, we'll make a sea glide as well. So here's our little sea glide. In the game, pushing space makes you go up and C makes you go down, and then it's just the usual WSAD for left, right and forward and back. If we deploy the constructor, so this is what we use for constructing submarines. It's a little bit wonky if you sort of give it a bit of a knock, then it'll start flipping all over the place and going quite crazy, but I'm sure that's something that they're going to work on. Okay, so I seem to have managed to get myself in a bit of a... there we go, drop that. Seems you can't use the constructor while you're holding a sea glide. Okay, and the only thing we can construct at the moment is the mini sub called a sea moth, which should spawn one there. It's got quite a cool character model in it, just like the Sea Glide. It's all very futuristic styled, so we can jump in. And away we go. That was one of those ones that, yeah. And he hit us with such a force that it sent us flying, which is probably not supposed to happen. And now we're going to end up on top of the spaceship, probably. I'm trying to go down, but yeah. Well, let's see if we can jump out. Well, that's unusual. We're running through the air in the middle of space. Like I said, It's an early access game. There are a few bugs. The stalkers hitting the subs and blowing you miles away is a known bug, and they are working on it at the moment. But aside from that, the game does have some quite cool elements. Hopefully it won't be too long before we start seeing the bigger submersibles in and the upgrades around that. This is as of the 11th of November, so it is a very early build, and you can find out more on the Subnautica forums. And if you do like this video, please comment and subscribe. Let me know that you want to see more, and I'll look at filming some more as the updates come out and let you know how the game's progressing. Cool, thanks for watching.